All right, let's just dive right into this explainer. Today, we're taking a hard, honest look at a reality that is honestly deeply relatable for so many young professionals right now. I mean, if you've ever checked your bank account at the end of the month and felt this sudden, crushing sense of defeat, yeah, you are absolutely not alone. We're going to unpack exactly why an entire generation is completely changing the way they think about money, saving, and their future.
To really get this, let's paint a picture that might feel a little too familiar. Imagine you're a young professional, right? You graduated from a good engineering college, landed your first job, and you're making a solid 6 lakhs a year. Your parents are incredibly proud. It's late at night, you're lying in bed, and just out of curiosity, you open up a real estate app to look for a basic one-bedroom apartment near your office in Whitefield, Bangalore. And boom, there it is. The starting price is 75 lakhs. You quickly do the math and realize, wow, even if I saved every single penny of my salary for 12 years, by the time I have the 75 lakhs, that same house will probably cost 1.5 crore. Defeated, you close the app. It's midnight, a Zomato ad pops up, and out of sheer frustration, you order a $400 dessert. Why? Because, well, you can't live in a brownie, but at least it gives you a little hit of serotonin today.
And you know, that midnight dessert order perfectly encapsulates this core psychological concept we need to talk about: financial nihilism. This isn't just about bad budgeting. It is literally a give-up mode. It's that overwhelming feeling that no matter how much you hustle, save, or invest, major life milestones like buying a house or hitting true financial independence are just so far out of reach that they're mathematically impossible. When the future seems completely locked out, spending your money on present moments of happiness feels like the only rational option you have left.
So here's our game plan for today. We'll start with the financial nihilism trap, then look at salaries versus housing costs, move on to the frictionless spending boom, the modern comparison game, extreme risks and investing, and finally, a practical financial guide to help navigate all of this.
Okay, Section 1, the financial nihilism trap and why saving feels impossible.
Let's go back to our young professional earning 6 lakhs rupees a year. That's roughly $50,000 a month in hand. Now, if they miraculously scrape together a 10 to 15 lakh rupee down payment for that 75 lakh rupee house, the home loan EMI on the rest would sit right around $55,000 a month. Think about that for a second. That means the EMI alone would eat their entire monthly paycheck. So it's not just a matter of skipping a few coffees to save up. The goal is fundamentally, mathematically impossible under current conditions. Moving on to Section 2, salaries versus housing costs. The math behind the despair. Just think about the stark, undeniable contrast over the last 12 years. Back in 2012, an entry-level IT salary was somewhere around 3.5 lakhs rupees. Today, it has barely budged, sitting right around 4 to 4.5 lakhs rupees. But then you look at real estate. A 1 BHK in the Mumbai suburbs went from 35 lakhs rupees up to an insane 90 lakhs rupees. Real estate in Whitefield jumped from $5,000 a square foot to $12,000. So in just over a decade, salaries have totally stagnated, while housing prices have doubled or even tripled. The math simply does not work in favor of the young earner anymore.
Which brings us to this crazy ratio, 14.3 times. In a city like Mumbai, the average cost of a house is now 14.3 times the average annual salary. To put that into perspective, the national average back in 2020 was around 6.6, and it's quickly climbing towards 7.5. What this proves is that the despair young people are feeling, it's not just in their heads, it's built on hard, undeniable macroeconomic facts.
Let's shift gears to Section 3, the frictionless spending boom. Where is all the money actually going?
Think about how we used to spend money. In the old days, if you wanted to spend a 500 rupee note, you had this built-in friction. You had to physically go to an ATM, stand in line, take out cash, hand it to the shopkeeper, and basically beg for exact change. By the time that whole ordeal was over, you had a moment to actually ask yourself, wait, do I even need this? Today, you see an ad on your phone, and with a single UPI tap, the money is gone. The friction is completely erased. And the result is wild. India is projected to hit 300 lakh crore in UPI volume in 2025, with 86% of merchant transactions being under 500 rupees. We are literally bleeding money through a million tiny frictionless cuts.
And hey, it's not just those daily taps for food, delivery, or groceries. Young Indian millennials are funneling a massive 29% of their income straight into travel. Let that sink in for a second. Out of 14 countries surveyed in the APAC region, young Indians are allocating the highest percentage of their income to travel. And it loops right back to financial nihilism, because if you know you can't afford that 75 lakh house, you might as well buy the plane ticket, see the world, and just gather experiences, right?
This brings us to Section 4, the modern comparison game, or what we can call the new Sharma Ji ka beta.
We all know the classic cultural trope of Sharma Ji ka beta, the neighbor's kid who always did just a little bit better than you. But in the 1990s, our parents were competing with one actual physical neighbor. It was super local. Today, Gen Z is bombarded by this infinite scroll of completely unrealistic wealth on every single Instagram swipe. You open your phone and boom, there's a 14-year-old crypto bro claiming to make millions, or a 22-year-old posing in front of a 4-crore car in Switzerland, which, let's be honest, they probably rented for the hour. The comparison game has exploded, and it constantly whispers to young people that if they haven't made it big by 22, they're massive failures.
Add to that the crushing parental pressure. It's a completely different playing field now. Back in the day, earlier generations bought dirt cheap land on the outskirts of cities for practically nothing. Today, those areas are prime real estate worth crores, essentially making them accidental multimillionaires. But then they look at their kids today, who might be earning a very respectable 15 lakh rupees at age 28, and they wonder why we haven't bought a house or a car yet. The younger generation is constantly being judged against this impossible historical timeline that just doesn't exist anymore.
Okay, Section 5, extreme risks and investing, the search for a way out.
Now, there is a really fascinating bright spot here. We're seeing a massive surge in demat accounts and young people jumping into the stock market. But we have to frame this correctly. A $1,000 monthly SIP, a systematic investment plan, is not going to make you an overnight millionaire. It's not about instant wealth at all. Actually, it's a brilliant psychological tool. Setting up that small, automatic deduction builds the muscle memory and the sheer discipline of investing. That way, when you do eventually earn more money later in your career, the habit is already hardwired into your brain.
But here's the darker side of that coin. Because let's be real, standard, boring, long-term investing yields maybe 12 to 15%. Young people look at skyrocketing inflation and those insane housing costs and realize that 12% simply isn't enough to catch up. It feels like they're running a race they can barely win. And that drives a massive chunk of the youth toward extreme risks. We're talking crypto, futures, options trading, even taking out personal loans just to chase a supernormal payout. When the straight, boring path seems to guarantee a life of middle-class stagnation, extreme risk suddenly starts looking very, very attractive.
All right, let's bring it all together in Section 6, a practical financial guide on how to actually survive and thrive.
First and foremost, I need you to hear me clearly on this. It is extremely hard to be a 20-something in today's world. The inflation is insane, the expectations are crushing, and you're essentially running on a treadmill that just keeps speeding up. Before you can even try to fix your finances, you have to validate your own struggle. Look in the mirror and know that this macroeconomic situation, it is not your fault. Do not beat yourself up for the economy you inherited. So here is a strategic 3-step paradigm shift to help this generation take back control without sacrificing their youth. Step 1. Automate those small SIPs to build that unshakable discipline we talked about. Step 2. Consciously allocate a percentage of your income for pure, guilt-free spending. And Step 3. Protect your freedom by strictly avoiding major EMIs in your 20s. Let's break these down real quick.
The most crucial point about that guilt-free spending? Enjoy it without the shame. Give yourself a budget, let's say 30% of your income, and spend it on what actually brings you joy. Please do not fall for the myth that if you just stop buying 400 rupee coffees or skip a weekend trip, you'll suddenly be able to afford a 75 lakh rupee house. Don't be penny wise and pound foolish. Depriving yourself of every small daily joy won't magically solve a massive global housing crisis. Enjoy the money you work so hard to earn.
And when it comes to debt, the old rules just have to change. If you need an education loan to boost your earning potential, absolutely take it. But do not take a home loan in your 20s. Wait until your late 30s or early 40s to settle down into real estate. The world is changing so fast, you honestly don't know where your career will take you or what city you'll even want to live in. Do not build yourself a 25-year EMI cage that restricts your ability to take risks, change jobs, or explore the world when you're in your absolute prime. I love this thought because it sums up our ultimate goal perfectly. You have to break free from societal pressure. You've got to truly live your financial life on your own terms. Your starting line is totally different from your parents', and it is certainly different from the curated fake reality on Instagram. You are living this life for you, and nobody else.
So, to wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one vital question to really chew on as you plan your journey forward. How will you redefine your own financial success outside of society's crushing expectations? Because honestly, the moment you stop playing their game, That's when you finally start winning your own. Thanks so much for joining me on this deep dive, and hey, start writing your own rules today.